Hello Fiction Sheiks, welcome back to another 642 Tiny Things to Draw update. We are starting off with a Shrunken head. I base shaded this whole thing with graphite, and I originally wanted to paint over it with a transparent paint like acrylic markers or something, but then I realized, no, I actually like the muted colors, so I went with colored pencil instead. I really tried to deepen those shadows to make everything look sunken and mummified. I chose a dull yellow for the rope to get a nice contrast while still sticking to the color scheme of these muted, more earthy, mummified colors. Here I am shading the hair now, and I didn't use much color for the hair because I wanted to differentiate it from the color of the skin, and now for outlining, I'm using a thin Micron pen, and I'm very sketchily outlining this. I thought a sketchy line would work well with the unsettling vibes of a mummified shrunken head. Then for the background, I scribbled in black with the brush pen from my Micron set, and I called it done. Next up, we have bubble wrap, and I completely winged this one because I did not know how to approach it. Bubble wrap is so much lighting and shadow and reflection and just, oh my god, it's chaos. I'm filling in the whole page with a light mint Grabie acrylic paint pen because who said bubble wrap can't be colorful? Now with a white Shuttle Art acrylic paint pen, I freehanded some circles for the bubbles, and I'm adding in the highlights and the wrinkles in the bubbles. I didn't add a lot of wrinkles just to make things easier on myself. Still with Shuttle Art, I am adding gray shadows. Then a couple lines of silver to make it shiny because plastic is shiny, and I really thought I got a better photo of this. I am so sorry, but anyway, now we have tater tots. This is another doodle that I completely winged, and the whole thing is done with Shuttle Art acrylic paint pens. I drew some crinkly oval shapes and colored them in with a mustardish kind of yellow. To get the tater tot texture, I took an orange and I scribbled in some very wonky rectangle shapes all over the whole thing. Now to get that crispiness, I'm adding some red-ish scribbles, and this is highly saturated, very cartoonish. This is giving me pop art vibes, but you know, I like it. There's my finished tater tots. I added a bit of border in the corner, and now we have a price tag. Gonna be honest, I did not try super hard on this one because that is not a fun thing to draw. I have my tag hanging off the sleeve of a shirt. I outlined this in Micron. I added a little bit of shadow in the shirt with graphite. I filled in the price of the price tag with a red paint pen to make it pop, and the rest was written with Micron. Now for a bit of color, we are adding Artist Loft colored pencils. I was feeling pink, so I made the t-shirt pink and the background gray, and I darkened the outer corners a little bit, and there it is, done. Next up, we have a finger skateboard, and I wanted this one to kind of feel like graffiti because something about skateboards and graffiti just feels right to me, so I'm using very saturated colors. This is done with Shuttle Art acrylic paint markers, and none of these color placements really make sense, but it's fun to look at. The skateboard is blue and purple, and I made the hardware silver because it's metal, so silver. Here I am filling in the hand with a kind of pinkish mauve, very odd color that's somewhat skin tone. I blushed/highlighted the hand with a light pink and then shaded it with a very saturated light blue, and then added some more highlight lines with red and then orange on top of that, and this looks very chaotic, but I kind of love it. And of course I filled in the background with yellow to make everything pop. Then I shaded the skateboard with that same blue, and I added some fun lines and patterns into the background just to make it more chaotic and vibrant. And I don't know why, but it's giving me like toy ad from the 90s or maybe even the 80s because of like those patterned arcade rugs. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Anyway, here it is finished, and now we have a toothpaste cap. Another boring thing to draw. I sketched it out and shaded it with graphite, and now I'm adding a bit of color with Artecho watercolor. I filled in the background green, which I now realize doesn't make a lot of sense because what countertop is green, especially that shade of green, but whatever, it looks good with the blue. But now we have a seashell, specifically a coquina clam, I think it's called. Specifically because they are very tiny shells, and this is a tiny book for tiny things, and because I like how colorful they are. This is also done with Artecho watercolor, and here I am filling in the background with sandy colors and sandy textures. For the shell, I used shimmery watercolors because I think shimmery goes good with shells. I added a base color of pink with purple down at the bottom and blue at the top because, again, these shells are very colorful and they fade in and out of a couple different colors. I don't know how accurate my color choices are, but I like it. It's pretty. Then I added dark pink stripes going one direction and some blue lines going the other direction because these shells do have stripes. These shells are so cute. I see them all the time at the beach and I love them. That's it for this doodle. Also, I did try to edit these end photos to make it more realistic to the actual drawing instead of shitty phone camera lighting, and it still looks really bad and inaccurate to the actual colors. So I'm sorry I tried, but here's that bad end photo. Next up, we have a walnut shell. I'm using acrylic paint pens by Shuttle Art, and I know these colors are not super accurate, but I have not figured out how to mix colors with these paint pens yet. The later colors of these markers are pretty transparent, which is actually good in this case, so I can color over all of my sketch lines while still seeing them so that I can come back with Micron to outline everything. I gave it some scribble shading because that felt right. I filled in the background blue and added some random squiggly lines in the background just to make it more visually, wow, I said that weird, oh my god, visually interesting. That's the word I'm trying to say, and here it is finished. Now we have an alfalfa sprout, which is extremely difficult to draw because these are like super thin little squiggly noodles, except it's not actually a noodle, it's a plant of some sort. But they're squiggly like a noodle, and they're super thin, and they're a weird transparent yellow-green type of color, and I knew that I would not get this accurate, so here is my very cartoonish attempt. Next up, we have a winning lottery ticket, and I'm using Shuttle Art acrylic paint markers again. I decided to do a close-up of one of these scratched-off boxes, so I'm filling in the base with silver because when you scratch off a lottery ticket, it's very shiny, and they actually do have some very thin lines in it. So there's the background lines with blue, and then the dotted line to separate the different boxes, and here I am drawing in the little matchy images, and then the winning amount, and then filling in the rest of the page with red, which would be the unscratched off part. Fun fact, I was referencing an actual winning lottery ticket that I have yet to turn in from Christmas. Here's that all finished. Next doodle is a kitten, and I'm referencing a photo that I took of an actual kitten at my uncle's house, so here's the little sleepy baby. I wanted to keep this drawing soft and light because I thought that would be fitting for a kitten, so I'm using colored pencils. Obviously, it's a little orange kitty, and I used blue for the background because complementary colors. Here I am blushing the ears and the toe beans and the nose with the pinkish color, filling in that background, and then I did use Shuttle Art acrylic paint markers to add in the stripes because if I tried to use another colored pencil for the stripes, I don't think it would show up very well, which is why I went for the acrylic paint route, and I think that gave a nice contrast of materials. I also used a paint marker to add in the whiskers and fuzz, and that'll be the final doodle for this update. So thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more of me, then click the link in the description box, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye!